Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this live streaming coverage from the King 5 newsroom. I'm Chris Ingalls. We're monitoring some breaking news out of Pierce County where 10 Collins Elementary School students, that's in the Franklin Pierce School District, were injured when a vehicle crashed into a school district school bus this morning. The crash occurred at the intersection of 128th Street East and Waller Road. This is just south of State Route 512, the main highway down there, if you will, just east of Lakewood. About 40 students were on the bus at the time. 10 students complaining of injuries were taken to the hospital, but we want to emphasize there are no serious injuries reported at this time. It seems like most of these hospitalizations are just for evaluation. The students who are not complaining of injuries, again, there were about 40 kids on the bus, are being evaluated before being released to their parents. According to the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, the driver of the vehicle that hit the bus, a sedan, is at fault. You've just seen us jump to a live picture from the intersection here. Again, the location being 128th Street East and Waller Road, which is an unincorporated part of Pierce County. This is the Franklin Pierce School District, and the school, Collins Elementary, is apparently fairly close to this scene. You can see there's traffic lights at this intersection, 128th East and Waller Road, in both directions. Looking at the Google map of this area, it's a pretty long, straight, narrow, north to south road. Don't know what the speed limit is on that road, but you can see there the indications on the pavement of where this crash might have occurred. And it's described to us as a sedan that actually hit the school bus with 40 kids on board. So let's just back up again with a little bit of information. This has happened, I would say, probably within the past 45 minutes or so. Where I don't know if the sedan ran the red light, just the Sheriff's Department is saying that it was at fault, and it hit the school bus with the kids at 128th East and Waller. The bus was carrying 40 Franklin Pierce County School District students who were on board, and 10 of them are either at the hospital right now or they're on their way, really for what appears to be just have a medical team look at them to make sure they're okay. None of the injuries are reported as serious. You see the sign, Historic Collins Road. I mean, it kind of looks like if you're looking on the Google Earth map, which is your best friend at this point, it looks like this was what you would have called a rural area once upon a time, with a straight road running north and south. And it's a perfectly square intersection there with Waller Road intersecting it at a 90-degree mark. So, I mean, I guess my point being here, I could imagine somebody's driving along at a fairly high speed in this area, although I don't know that that's what happened here. All we know is that the sheriff's deputies that have been on the scene investigating seem to say pretty quickly that it was the sedan that hit the school bus and not the other way around, and they're saying that the sedan driver was at fault. Again, if you picture this in your mind, a sedan against a school bus, it's the sedan that's usually going to lose, although there were some kids that were shaken up and evaluated, and 10 were actually taken to the hospital with these supposed minor injuries. You see our camera moving around out there only because we have, I believe, our South Bureau photojournalist Jordan Treese, who was the closest to that scene, and he's actually out there shooting some video now. I don't think we've seen images of school bus yet, which could mean that that school bus was able to drive off. But we can see the clear markings of an accident, that occurred there, including, I don't know if that's glass that's on the ground or some kind of chemical. Sometimes they throw down a powder to clean up chemicals, things like that. But it's pretty clear indication that it was at this crosswalk where it happened. No one else involved. Like you see the pedestrian crosswalk there, no one else apparently was involved. It was just the people that were in vehicles, including the 40 kids on the bus and at least one driver in the sedan. Don't know the injuries, if there were any, of the driver, but looks like that's probably a part of his vehicle right there. Perhaps a grill or some of the, the plastic, some of the plastic, that could actually be the plastic covering of the radiator there. So car parts left in the ground, not surprising, with an accident that would hit a school bus and shake up, a number of the kids that are on board. By the way, those kids that have not gone to the hospital, their parents were called out to the scene, and somewhere, perhaps I would assume nearby if Collins Elementary School is not that far away, somewhere they were reunited with their parents fairly quickly. Those kids were evaluated very quickly on the scene, we're told, and then just handed over to their parents to go home. So backing up again, we are at 128th Street East and Waller Road in unincorporated Pierce County. This is not far from Interstate 5, which of course runs north-south right through Lakewood there. Highway 512 is an east-west running highway, and you go a couple miles down 512, and this road, 128th Street East, runs right under I-5, if I have my direction correctly. Maybe it's Waller that runs under I-5, Highway 512. One of those is the north-south that runs from 512 down to the intersection where this accident occurred. So it's in a fairly populated area, although, as I say, this probably used to be very rural agricultural, just you can tell by looking at the map, the way the roads are cut and the way that the properties are fairly large through here, although they're building some, subdivisions and other things like that. But I can imagine this is the kind of roadway where a car could really pick up some speed because it's a very straight, fairly narrow road running north-south there. So we're at 128th East and Waller Road in unincorporated Pierce County. This was a school bus that was carrying Franklin Pierce School District students, 40 of them, from Collins Elementary School. So I'm assuming that the elementary school kids were getting out for the day. I'm sorry, say that one more time. I'm just talking to my producer here. And the bottom line here is that kids are doing okay. There's 10 that are at the hospital. We're waiting for more word on them. Let's take this break and we can return with more live coverage if needed.
New data about safety and effectiveness can come to light. The FDA keeps track of that new data, which can come from patients, drug makers, or healthcare professionals, and may include information about negative reactions to prescriptions. Based on this information, the FDA may recommend that the drug maker update the drug labeling by adding warnings or updated dosage information. Changes could also include the FDA requesting a drug recall. Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.
We're with Liam after his fourth military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
New data about safety and effectiveness can come to light. The FDA keeps track of that new data, which can come from patients, drug makers, or healthcare professionals, and may include information about negative reactions to prescriptions. Based on this information, the FDA may recommend that the drug maker update the drug labeling by adding warnings or updated dosage information. Changes could also include the FDA requesting a drug recall. Find the answers at fda.gov/drugs.
We're with Liam after his fourth military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with
Side break.
Welcome back to our continuing live coverage of this school bus accident that is breaking now in Pierce County, just east of Lakewood. And we have Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto, who joins us on Zoom now to talk a little bit more about this crash. Deputy Capetto, thank you so much for being here. And I know that people want to know first and foremost, how are these kids doing? There were 40 kids on the school bus at the time.
Yeah, we actually learned that when we got here, it was originally reported that there were 40 kids, but there were actually 32 kids on this school bus that was on its way to Collins Elementary School, which is an elementary school ages ranging from kindergarten to 5th grade. Out of those 32 kids that were on that bus, 10 of them were transported to a hospital with mostly neck and head type injuries. You could imagine when a school bus is braking very hard. None of these kids are strapped in, which is pretty standard on any school bus. But all of these kids were launched forward into the tall seat in front of them. So there is one student that potentially has serious injuries, and we are waiting to hear back from them. And then an 11th student was self-transported by their parent, and we'll be following up closely with that parent as well. It was a very large scene. Central Pierce Fire did a fantastic job. They needed several ambulances. I think we just about cleaned out Central Pierce's ambulances for this incident, but right now everybody is doing very well. And we have one male driver that was driving a sedan. He was also transported to the hospital, but I do understand that his injuries are minor at this time. He is the at-fault driver, and the bus did have the right of way. So we're going to see what's going to happen moving forward.
Deputy Capetto, thank you very much. There was a new piece of information there that one of these kids is a little more seriously injured, and I don't want to alarm anybody, but that is new information. You were talking about the force of this accident from jamming on the brakes. Do you know if do we know if there was speed was a factor here, if the bus was rolling at the time and the car hit it as the bus was moving, or is that kind of the thing that's under investigation?
Yeah, the bus was moving and the bus did have the right of way. And the driver of that sedan, it's unknown if there was speed involved or if he was attempting to turn in front of that bus before that bus or he ran that red light. But all in all, that sedan is at fault and the bus had the green light.
And the sedan driver is in the hospital, just to update people on that, as well as I think you mentioned at least 10 students went to the hospital and are being checked out, one of them with a little more serious injuries. So thank you, Deputy Carly Capetto, for joining us from the scene. And we'll continue to follow this breaking news out of Pierce County. Tune into King 5 News at noon for the latest updates. That's about less than 40 minutes from now. And thank you so much for joining us now. I'm Chris Ingles.